Good evening, I'm Kathy Lewis, and here's what matters tonight. Public education seems to be everybody's favorite punching bag, and lots of people have lots of ideas about how to fix it. Very few of them, however, take the extra step to explore the ideas and try to actually implement them. One of those rare people is Walter Siegeloff. His vision started over a tennis net, and today An Achievable Dream Academy is home to Newport News students from kindergarten through 12th grade. Shelve just about every idea you have about public education and join Lisa Godley for a tour of a unique partnership among Newport News public schools, nonprofit organizations, and the military.
When I walked through the front doors of An Achievable Dream, it was obvious to me that this school was different. Maybe it was the sign over the door that read, "Through these doors pass dreamers and achievers." Or maybe it was the flat-screen television that broadcast the financial news. But I'd soon learn that this was only the beginning.
Well, they took algebra in the 7th grade. They took geometry last year, and they're taking algebra trig this year. Yeah, they'll be in pre-calc next year in 10th grade.
Not only are the students here taking tough classes, they're passing them with flying colors.
They passed every SOL, 100% for algebra and geometry. And I would imagine they all passed this again this year for algebra too. So they're doing great.
As I continued my trek through the halls, I noticed that like most middle and high schools, there were room numbers. But here, the numbers are secondary to the words printed above, words like patriotism and optimism. On the walls are quotes, like this one, which reads, "This is a country of the people, by the people, and for the people. The future is up to you." I was anxious to talk to some of the students, or dreamers, about their learning environment and how they felt about it. I met 15-year-old Sarah White not in the cafeteria, but in the dining hall, complete with round tables and tablecloths. Sarah's actions immediately grabbed my attention. Now, when we were getting ready to do this interview, you were standing and you waited until I sat down. Why'd you do that?
Because we're taught to have manners and morals, so we have respect for people that's older than us. So.
I asked Sarah to explain the difference between attending An Achievable Dream and the public schools that many of her friends attend. She explained that here the school day is 8.5 hours instead of the standard 6.5 or 7 hours school day. Dreamers also attend school 210 days a year instead of the standard 180-day school year. And there's a dress code. Middle school boys must wear blue shirts and ties, and middle school girls wear different color polo shirts depending on their grade level. In high school, boys must wear collared shirts, and girls cannot wear stiletto heels. And nobody can wear jeans. The program targets children who are at risk of failure in school due to many social disadvantages and teaches them to become productive citizens with achievable dreams.
I went to a school like this, inner city. My parents didn't have much money, like the students here. I was on free and reduced lunch, free lunch, like these students are. And to be able to see them grow and go away to college and to excel in tennis and all of those different types of things, is a joy for me.
I also noticed signs everywhere that read "Speaking Green," so I asked Sarah to explain.
Speaking green is proper business English, using correct language when you're in school, not using slang words, making sure you pronounce everything right, not using words that wouldn't be proper in your workplace.
Just ask the school's Teacher of the Year, Tara Hardy.
First impressions are everything, and that's what we want students to be prepared with when they go outside the school setting.
It's a practice that begins at an early age at An Achievable Dream, with students greeting guests and teachers every morning with a firm handshake. Something else that starts in the younger years at An Achievable Dream is learning the school's only official sport, tennis. Founder Walter Siegeloff wanted the Dreamers to not only learn a sports skill, but character development, discipline, and fairness, not to mention a sport they can play throughout their business and social lives. In etiquette class, the students learn everything from how to move about properly in a crowded movie theater to writing proper thank you notes, not to mention which utensils to use and how to properly use them.
I learned etiquette, how when a young lady comes to the table, you stand up and present yourself like a gentleman. You take the young lady chair out so that she can sit down.
That's not all 13-year-old Rashawn Stevens knows. He also knows where he hopes An Achievable Dream will take him.
When I graduate from An Achievable Dream, I plan on going to college and trying to make it to the National Football League so that I can grow up and be an inspiration for other kids my age.
Sarah, whose favorite subject is geometry, sees her future this way.
I either want to go to law school or become a forensic scientist.
An Achievable Dream Academy is a great school for young people like me. So keep you out of trouble, to keep you on the right track so you can focus on the goals so you can grow up and be successful in life.
For What Matters, I'm Lisa Godley.
And we are glad to have with us tonight the founder and CEO of An Achievable Dream, Mr. Walter Siegeloff. Richard Coleman is the executive director of An Achievable Dream Academy, and a 2003 graduate of the program is Zakiya Williams, who joins us tonight. Welcome to all of you, and thanks for being with us. Walter Siegeloff, congratulations on a great success. I mean, you must feel very gratified by looking at where this came from the very beginning. You were on a tennis court, I understand, and thinking about tennis as a way to engage young people?
Well, Kathy, that's part of it. Actually, the idea hit me when I was in my business. I ran a company called La Vogue and Virginia Specialty Stores. And we would hire 30, 40, 50 high school graduates a year in the distribution center. And what we found is that many of the young people graduating in the period of 1992, when I got onto this idea, really were not, they had diplomas, but they really weren't qualified for the business world. And they had no idea of what the workplace was like. School system, public education didn't deal with it in those days.
Right.
The whole, everything was different in '92.
Sure.
I mean, the whole attitude towards kids learning. And I would interview 300-400 kids in order to get 30, 40 to hire. So the idea came to me that this was just an enormous waste of manpower, brain power, gray matter. Then one day I was driving down 25th and Jefferson, and I saw 3 young men, probably 12, 13 years old, being handcuffed by the police. And I said, you know, it's just, the American dream just doesn't exist for our kids at 25th and Jefferson. So I went to president of Shipyard, went to Dave Peebles, president of Ferguson, talked about it, and they said they had the same problem with the graduates, and that maybe we could do something about it. So I came up with, I had this idea, but I was missing a hook. I mean, I had the idea of math skills, English remediation, proper business English, setting a moral compass, all of the things that kids need to be successful, but I was missing the hook. One day I was at home before going to New York, and I was watching a tennis match, and boom, that hit me. Lifetime sport, non-combative, free tennis courts, $25, $30. You could buy a set of whites, a tennis racket, and a ball in 1992. And it was an upwardly mobile sport. There were no minorities.
Business sport.
That's right. Social. It's like golf. There were no minorities playing tennis in that period. It was just a void. I went up to see Arthur Ashe, spent a couple hours with him. He was ill at that time. You know, he wished me well. He gave me some financial help. But the Williams sisters weren't there. There were no minorities as role models. So I had this idea, you know, our kids could play at country clubs. Our kids could play at private tennis courts. We went to our team was the first minority team to go to Country Club of Virginia. It was great. We won. So tennis was the hook.
Yeah, tennis was the hook. But you know, when you come to the things that we just saw in Lisa's report, etiquette classes. I mean, who would imagine that in a school? It's so far removed from, I think, what we typically think of as going on in a school, and yet so critically important. I mean, were you encouraged to think outside the box on this thing, and did you run into resistance when you approached the school system and said, "Hey, I've got this idea, a little different than what you're doing everywhere else, with the military people and the checking the uniforms and the you know, and the rallies in the morning with the positive motivational chants"? It's pretty different.
No, we were very fortunate. Again, different world in '92. It's hard for people today to imagine that setting. But we had a young superintendent by his name of Eric Smith, who had just come to the community. And we hit it off. We spent a lot of time talking about it. I went through the whole idea with him, and he said, "Just do it." And I said, "Well, how do I do it?"
Isn't that often what it takes, though, is somebody just to,
That's right,
visionary and innovative, to say, "Go for it"? Yeah.
And he said, "Draw up a contract." I drew it up. The school board was headed by McKinley Price in that time, and they just went for it 7-0.
That's great.
It was great.
Yeah.
They were appointed school boards in those days,
Right.
a little bit different than elected school boards, and we had never had a problem.
That's so interesting. And you
most
started out
positive
with
attitude.
the elementary school.
Started out with 95 kids that were given to us at random by the city. They gave us
From a certain area, or truly at random across the city?
pretty much at random. It was, I don't know about that. It might have been from a couple areas. It was, give us, you're tired, you're hungry, and you're poor.
Sure.
And we ran a tennis camp for 2 years, 8-week tennis camp, 3 hours a day of tennis, 3 hours of math and English, and an hour of character development, which the military helped us develop.
Right.
And they've been our wonderful partners. Fort Eustis has been with us every day for 14 years, no matter deployment,
no matter what.
Iraq, Kuwait, Bosnia, it doesn't matter. They're 15, 20 troops, so they're every morning.
Every morning. It's an amazing thing. And then, Richard Coleman, then you got a building for an elementary school, sort of a separate, contained school.
Yes, and we were fortunate to have that building because it allowed us to not only cater to the kids that were zoned for that school in grades kindergarten through second, but also allowed us from grades 3, 4, and 5 to take kids from all over the city that met the criteria. And as Walter said, those that were eligible for free reduced lunch and had other social risk factors that we felt would be beneficial to them.
You know, one of the things that seems to me that's so important about this program is the opt-in aspect of it. You know, the fact that it's not just about the children coming and meeting certain at-risk criteria. Their parents had to say, "I understand there's uniforms, I get that this is a different deal, and I'm ready to sign on for it."
That's exactly right. In all the parent meetings we have, we lay that out for the parents so that they understand what they're getting themselves into. We don't try to sell Achievable Dream. We just want them to be informed about what we do, the dress code, the earrings that boys cannot wear, the lack of, we don't allow them to wear braids in their hair. We want our kids to be prepared for the corporate world. Whether they enter into the corporate world or not, we want them to be prepared for that.
So you had this elementary school freestanding facility, but this has been a really exciting year in terms of the growth of the program.
Yes, we transitioned from the kindergarten through 8th grade in one building and having our kids graduate in 8th grade and go into high school. Usually it was Heritage High School, to actually opening up a remodeled building next to Heritage High School. And that's where we now contain our 6th through 9th grade kids, and we're certainly expecting those 9th grade will be the first to graduate in the 12th grade over the next couple of years. And it is just a wonderful experience for our kids and for us.
Yeah, and the report that you just saw Lisa do is from that new facility. It's
That's
a
exactly
beautiful,
right.
beautiful facility.
In fact, it has tennis courts in the gym, so the kids still can participate with the tennis program, and it's great for the kids, and it's a great atmosphere where the kids know that they're really special.
Well, and while the Williams sisters might not have been on the scene back in the day, Walter, they certainly were on the scene at Achievable Dream recently, weren't they?
Arthur Blake has been there.
James Blake has been
James
there.
Blake,
And he brought Serena Williams with him, and it's been wonderful. They conducted clinics for our kids. They did some autographs, but I think just for the kids to know that people that were important in the tennis world would come to their school and visit them and have clinics and be very supportive of what they were all about. It was just amazing for the kids.
Sure, it's a great point. Zakiya Williams is a 2003 graduate of An Achievable Dream Academy. Welcome, Zakiya, and thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
You were 2003 graduate in 12th grade, right? Is that right?
Yes.
And so you started at what point? What grade were you in when you started at the Achievable Dream?
In fourth grade.
In fourth grade. And did your parents opt you into this situation, or did you live in the neighborhood, or were you one from the rest of the city who decided to take advantage of that opportunity?
I lived in the neighborhood, and I was actually really excited when I got my letter in the mail.
Really?
Because there were the Green Group, which is a year ahead of us. A lot of them in my neighborhood, they were already in Achievable Dream, and they used to go on field trips every Friday. And so I was so excited to be a part of Achievable Dream because I was really looking forward to just getting out of the neighborhood and getting to explore the world more.
And when you talk about getting out of the neighborhood, what was it going on? What was going on in the neighborhood that made you want to get out of it for a little bit of time?
Well, I grew up in a neighborhood which was right across the street from an Achievable Dream, in the downtown Achievable Dream. And there was a lot of things that were going on that maybe children shouldn't be exposed to, but you had to see it because you lived in that neighborhood. And just to go out, to go to Kings Dominion and Water Country, and just to have fun with people in your age, knowing that you were in a safe environment with people who loved you. That was really important.
That's interesting. That safety and comfort seems to be, that's something you don't probably put in the brochure. I'm sure that you're talking about reading and writing and tennis and all the things that are speaking green. All things are critically important. But it sounds like one of the enduring things that you took out of the experience was the idea of being safe and loved and cared for in that environment.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's important, isn't it?
It is.
And so. So you went to Heritage, is that right? You went to Heritage High School because that was when the Achievable Dream High School program was co-located in Heritage. And when it came time to look at college, did you have the sense that that was a possibility for you because of Achievable Dream, or did you think, well, this has been grand, but I probably won't be going to college? How did that work out for you?
College, it was never a question of if you're going to college or not. It was always,
where are you going?
Exactly. Which college are you going to?
Yeah.
So I always, when I think about when people ask me that question now, I never had that question in my mind that I wasn't going to college. It was always I was going to college.
Going to college. But it's an expensive venture, isn't it? College.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So how did you put all that together?
How did I know that I was going to
college?
college?
How did you put together the finances and the wherewithal to get to college? Because, we know that public education is a taxpayer supported. We never say it's free. Nothing's ever free, but a taxpayer supported venture. College, while it's also tax supported, you have to pay tuition and books and room and board and all the rest of it.
You do. And that's why in my 12th grade year, I did a lot of scholarships, and Achievable Dream also funded me as well. We received $1,000 each semester. And I just went there. I didn't make money an issue. I just wanted, the goal was for me to get a degree.
Right.
And that's what I really wanted. So I didn't let that hinder me, although sometimes I did have trouble with it. I still had my ultimate goal, which was to come out.
And so you graduated when?
I graduated May 19, 2007.
A red letter day. Well done. With a 10 a.m. Okay, just in case you have a question about that. And your degree is in?
Mass communications with the concentration in broadcast journalism and a minor in English.
I'm letting you do that so you can get a job, because, and we'll keep a lookout for you here. You're not getting mine yet. When I'm ready to turn it over, I'll let you know. But so you're looking for a job in the industry right now?
Yes.
And do you have the sense that, what has been the impact of an Achievable Dream in terms of your life and where you find yourself right now?
Well, one of the things which you saw in the video is that Achievable Dream really elaborates on character education. And for me, that was really important because I remember one of the words, perseverance, was one of the characters of the month. And we would always talk about what it meant to persevere, what it meant to make it, even though you had a lot of obstacles in your way. And Achievable Dream taught me that anything was possible, because even though I came from an environment that was quoted at risk, I was still able to make it and go to college. And then to see people before me that were able to do the same thing, it just showed me that anything is possible. And when I went to college, I ran a 10K. I survived that, and then I even
I'll
went
tell
to
you something. You survived a 10K. This job will be a piece of cake for you.
Exactly.
I'm not kidding you.
Yeah, and
That's
I even
amazing.
went to China.
Really?
Last year too.
Wow, that must have been amazing.
That was amazing.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Walter Siegeloff, I appreciate Zakiya talking about the community that she came from as being defined as at risk. but I know that you know the statistics that come out of some of the communities from which these children come, and the really and the very, very significant situations that they face on a daily basis.
Right, Kathy, yes, absolutely, and that was part of the reason for the program, because I realized that the kids we wanted to help the most were those that were most socially at risk. But if you look at your public dropout rates, that's where so many qualified kids that could do great,
right,
don't have the reinforcement and they don't have the support system that we help the family with. And instead of dropping out, these kids are very successful. We're just all excited today because, I mean, I don't think there's another school in the state, let alone the nation, that has any better 7th grade a social study.
98% of our kids just passed the social studies test today.
And that's just today.
Just today.
Just that news came out today. That's exciting.
But
98%.
62% of them is advanced pass.
That's great.
I mean, 98% may not blow anybody, a lot of people away, but 62% advanced pass. We had 3 perfect scores. That's pretty good.
No question about it. And when you think about this program and where it goes from here, I know that you have appreciated the support that you've had from the business community, which has been really key, and from the military community, and certainly from the Riverside Health System and all the other, and the city and the school systems and all the rest of it. But Walter Siegel, if I have to go back and ask you the big question from the beginning, which is, what is it about you that caused you to connect all these dots and have that kind of persistence, if you will, or perseverance, if you will permit the word, to make this thing happen? Because it's really quite extraordinary.
Well,
I've stumped the panel.
I don't really think it's that extraordinary. I mean, I know what you're saying, and I don't mean to be flip at all. I just think that it was the confluence of a lot of the right things happening, a need, an awareness, a frustration, a supportive school system, a supportive city council. It was a great business community, some great generals at Fort Eustis. All of this, the police, all coming together and recognizing this. And I was sort of the catalyst that said, okay, I'll do it, but you got to do this with me. And they came. And
they came. And you know, you have to really appreciate that moment when you have that kind of visionary leadership in place. And then when you have the opportunity for someone like Richard Coleman to have led this for so long. You've been involved in this quite a long time now.
Yes, I was the principal for 5 years, the assistant principal for 3 years, and I've been the director for 4 years. And I've watched the Zakiya Williams come and go. There are 1,200 Zakiya Williams in our program, and all of them have the potential. And I think that Walter's probably being somewhat modest. The reality is that at Achievable Dream, even though that may not have been the intent, we're providing hope in a public school in many hopeless situations. You see it in their eyes when they come in the building in the morning. Sometimes when they're not doing so well, and over the days and over the years, as we shake hands with the kids on a daily basis, you can see the transition from kids that are questioning who we are and what we're all about, and even questioning themselves, to kids who are very confident and know they're going to college in spite of what someone may say.
I'm a little scared about my job. She's so confident. Richard Coleman, congratulations.
Well,
Zakiya Williams, thank you for being with us. Best of success to you. Walter Siegel, you're fabulous. Thank you so much for being with us. Thank you very much. And we'll be back in just a moment with a final thought. There is so much about an achievable dream that makes it successful. Required parental commitment, real relationships among caring adults and at-risk kids, strong support from the business community, the powerful personality of its founder. But one practice at An Achievable Dream is absolutely transferable to every school in Hampton Roads. It's simple and it's free. And I truly believe it could transform the educational experience of every single child in this region. At An Achievable Dream Academy, every single day when a child enters the school, someone shakes their hand, a caring adult, a teacher, a staff member, somebody who knows that child. Shaking hands is, of course, a great life skill, and the sooner children learn it, the better. Think about it. Aren't you impressed when a young person looks you in the eye and actually initiates a handshake? But that handshake is really much more than a passport to the world of business. It's a powerful moment when an adult can hold a child's hand, look into his or her eyes, and see fear, hunger, sadness, happiness, anger, a whole range of emotional realities that will shape that child's day. And when a caring adult sees something in those eyes that can be comforted, fed, consoled, or calmed, it is in that moment that we truly leave no child behind. Well, we always enjoy hearing from you about this or any other broadcast. You can write to us at 5200 Hampton Boulevard, Norfolk, Virginia, 23508. Call us at 889-9437 or email us at whatmatters@whro.org. And this is the last show for Barbara Ham, our producer. On the other side of her wedding and honeymoon, Mrs. Barbara Lee will be back at the helm, and we will certainly welcome her back with open arms. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you right here next week.